Does everyone who's in recovery from anger and rage and violence, do they all need to seek a therapist?
Absolutely not. I think it can be very helpful to the process, but people can do recovery from rage, good recovery from rage, without a therapist. And I think that is good news. The reason is that therapists can be expensive and out of the range of some people that are very motivated to change their behavior. So one of the things that is common to any kind of recovery from rage or anger is to first figure out where the partner wants you to start. Because the focus in this kind of recovery is what the partner wants you to do specifically, and to make that the cornerstone of the recovery. The other important thing that's a part of any recovery program is to start immediately. Start now. Do not wait. Do something different today. Something that people around you will notice.
Okay. So what would that process look like?
Well, accountability would be the next items. So getting clear what your partner wants, start immediately, have accountability. Accountability without a therapist would be, first of all, to have accountability to yourself. Mm-hmm. And to define what the first step might be in recovery. Maybe you would want to model this on the AA program and then decide what would be the equivalent of staying away from the first drink in anger recovery. And many men I see decide that is staying away from profanity. So the commitment is not to speak one single word of profanity at any time, at any place, for any reason, no matter what, no matter what. So in terms of accountability, it would be accountability to yourself, mm-hmm, and accountability to your partner. Accountability to your partner, accountability to yourself would be, at the end of the day, reviewing, did I speak any profanity? Mm-hmm. To whom? How severe was the slip? Did I scream at my partner? Or did I mumble it in traffic? And to write this down. So you don't have or wouldn't have a therapist to be accountable to. You'd be accountable to yourself. You could also be accountable to your wife, your partner, and say, what was your satisfaction with the relationship today, from 1 very dissatisfied to 10 very satisfied. Write down the number. Do not argue. Do not discuss. Then ask, what could I do tomorrow that would please you? So that has to do with getting clear specifically what needs to change, starting now, have accountability to yourself and having accountability to your partner. All this you can do without a therapist.
What kinds of things could a therapist be helpful with?
Well, a good, well-trained anger management therapist can be sure and get the recovery process off to a good start. And that would be to not only focus on what the angry man has done wrong in the past, but also it is sometimes difficult to have the partner refocus after reviewing that to some things he could start doing that would please her. So sometimes getting that to shift is, although it sounds simple, very difficult. The other thing is at some point to work on communication issues and healing the relationship.
So, if a man has tried traditional counseling and pastoral counseling and medication and other kinds of therapies, you still think it would be helpful if they were to try therapy with a specialist in anger management?
Absolutely. My own practice is made up of men who are referred from these kinds of sources. So it doesn't mean that they are not effective, but additional therapy with a anger management therapist, often short term, can be helpful in focusing on that particular behavior.
So they might see a therapist after a slip or a major relapse.
Absolutely. I think a minor slip might require a session or two after they have maintained their anger and rage recovery for a while. A major slip that where they have gotten into the habit of rage again may require a more intensive approach and program for them.
And what might they look for in a therapist?
Well, I think in looking for an anger management therapist, you're looking for a specialist who has had special training. And when you ask the therapist, you can ask what kind of training, how long was the training, can ask if they see just a few clients or that is their practice working with men with anger problems. And if you are interested in more than one session, like deciding to commit a sizable amount of time and money, then I think the therapist should be willing to talk to you on the telephone before you start or fly into the city for the workshop or the program. So that would be my thought.